An all-out blizzard has made its way through Ames, Iowa, but for the next couple of hours, we'll escape from the weather event with a sporting event, and a darn good one. Women's Big 12 basketball, number 4 Baylor and Iowa State here at Hilton Coliseum. John Walters along with Molly Parrott. And Molly, all it takes is one look at the Big 12 standings to recognize that this is a really important game today. A couple candidates for this year's Freshman of the Year of Big 12, including Audi Crooks.
Audi Crooks is one of these 5 freshmen that we talked so much about so far this season. Her numbers continue to get better, even in the Big 12 play when she's facing off against better and better competition. She had her second career double-double Wednesday night against West Virginia. That was a huge comeback for the Iowa State women. They were down 19 points in the third quarter. That comeback really led by Audi Crooks and Emily Ryan, the senior we'll talk so much about. She really put that team on her back and willed them to victory.
Oops, what a terrific lead. Forsberg is the lead official, and Baylor controls the tip. This Baylor team, like Iowa State, can shoot the three. Both teams really share the basketball beautifully. I think you'll enjoy watching the ball movement and player movement over the next couple of hours.
Baylor, one of the best teams in the nation as far as sharing the basketball. Balanced scoring for this Baylor squad. 5 1,000-point scorers on this Baylor Lady Bears roster, which is pretty amazing. One of few teams in the country to have that kind of experience on their side.
Including Asia Blackwell, who came in from the Missouri program a couple of years ago, and she travels, and so Iowa State gets it. Blackwell getting the start ahead of Fauntleroy, which is a switch in the Baylor starting lineup. This is Ariana Jackson, the freshman for Iowa State, trying to keep the possession alive, but Baylor would have none of it. And on the fly, here comes Dre Edwards, a versatile player for Baylor, off the glass and in.
Well, this Iowa State team saw very aggressive full court pressure defense and in the half court from West Virginia on Wednesday night. A week prior, they faced off against Kansas, who plays that really aggressive defense as well. But Baylor does it more so in the half court. They want to get out. They want to deny passes. This is another big challenge for Iowa State's ball handlers.
First foul of the game goes on Sarah Williams.
Baylor, Nikki Collin has not lost in this arena. Hilton Coliseum, such a challenging place to play, and she knows that. She thinks keeping the crowd out of it early is a key to their success today.
Belanger finds Jackson for 3. Ariana Jackson's been dealing with a hand injury, but it didn't slow her down there.
And it's on her shooting hand, which makes things particularly challenging, but good for the freshman. She was definitely challenged on Wednesday night against West Virginia with their very scrappy on-ball defense.
Another look at it. Belanger's done a good job finding open shooters.
You can tell that as the season has progressed for Hannah Belanger in her first season of Division I basketball after having an amazing career at the Division II level, the game is slowing down a little bit for her. She's becoming more and more comfortable, as it is for the 5 newcomers who are all freshmen for Iowa State as well.
And a great discovery for Iowa State in conference play has been Ariana Jackson off the ball, where she has just lit it up from 3-point range. Now 12 of 17 from 3. Down low, Crooks muscles her way in, and Iowa State leads it 5-2.
Iowa State playing some zone defense here. This is a Baylor team that can really shoot it from 3, but the Cyclones will play the percentages. They will try to put their team in the best possible situation to win and take away what the team wants to do well.
Naimir Du is in a tough slump in Big 12 play. She was really shooting the ball well in the non-conference, but she stays on the floor for her defense. Edwards tries a 3 at the other end.
Baylor shooting 37% as a team on the season. Actually shooting even better than that in Big 12 play, 39% from deep in those 4 conference games. 2
really good shooting teams, 2 teams that move the ball well, but this time Jackson throws it away, trying to go to Addie Brown. We'll see Kelsey Jones check in for Iowa State along with Nelly Natabu. Jada Walker, the Big 12 newcomer of the year preseason. Edwards has scored all 5. Misses there, and Natabu keeps it to 1 shot for Baylor, and that's something Iowa State does very well, Molly. Defensive rebound.
They knew that would be a key in today's contest. Iowa State gets a lot of rebounding, not only from their big post players, but in the guard court as well.
Belanger knocks down a three.
Iowa State on Wednesday night against West Virginia, they were 0 of their first 7 from beyond the arc, and it finally hit a three-pointer. Kelsey Jones with a big-time triple for Iowa State in the third, and that really took the lid off the basket for Iowa State from beyond the arc.
Little Paige Bugs along the baseline, off her leg. Addie Brown forced that turnover. And Baylor turning it over frequently here in the early going, and Iowa State typically does not force a lot of turnovers. But they benefit from that early on and lead at 8-5. Belanger forced to handle more of the ball handling duties early in the season when Emily Ryan was out. Has handled it well. Now Addie Brown had it knocked away, and a great play by Blackwell. She's tied up by Naimir Dew.
Nice hustle. Yeah, nice hustle play there by Blackwell to really sacrifice her body, diving on the floor. Kind of looked like she was diving for a fumble.
Be more of that with the NFL playoffs today, but
really happy to be in Hilton Coliseum, not down at Arrowhead today.
Me too. Here's Kelsey Jones, the freshman from Iowa City, and a familiar name to basketball fans throughout this league, and another foul on Baylor, and that's their third already. And that's 2 now on Andrews. So that's a factor to keep an eye on. And Baylor will bring in Jana Van Geitenbeek, transfer from Stanford. Here's Addie Brown at the free throw line with a terrific freshman in this league, trying to shovel it underneath and knocked away by Baylor. Iowa State will keep it.
Addie Brown, so good at distributing the basketball. But there are situations where she could probably pull up and shoot it over the top of a smaller defender. That might have been one of those situations there. Baylor
typically plays zone on baseline out of bounds, and Addie Brown hits the 15-footer. And 4 different Cyclones have scored. They're off to a good start shooting the ball. 4 or 5 from the floor. Van Geitenbeek off to Walker for a 3. The lefty misses, and Dew rebounds. Lost control of it. Walker the other way. Into traffic. And a putback by Little Paige Bugs.
It's those live ball turnovers that Iowa State wants to avoid, especially against a very fast Baylor team that really wants to push in transition.
We have another foul underneath. And that's the 4th on Baylor, so Iowa State will be shooting free throws here before long. This time Blackwell picks up the foul.
Baylor 3 of 7 from the field, 1 of 4 from downtown here in the first 5 minutes of action. Didn't shoot the basketball well down in Lawrence on Wednesday night, particularly in that third quarter when they got down. Only shot 21% in that third.
Jalen Bristow in for Iowa State. Crooks down low. And a good takeaway that time by Edwards. And here she comes, one of the most versatile players in the league. And they get it down low to Little Paige Bugs. Nice passing. And a 1-point game.
Second basket of the game for Little Paige Bugs. As we mentioned in the open, led this Baylor team in scoring down at Lawrence the other night.
Brown controls out high. Speaking of versatile players, she finds Crooks. And the rebound to Little Paige Bugs. Baylor looking for the lead. Van Geitenbeek is terrific at taking care of the ball. 40 assists, just 9 turnovers on the season. Out high to Walker, in on Jackson, and Baylor leads it.
Iowa State shooting the basketball well in the early going here. 4 of 6 from the field, but they've choked up the basketball 5 times. 6-0 run for the Baylor Bears.
This is Jalen Bristow traveling with the basketball, and that'll turn it over to Baylor. Iowa State's actually won its last 2 meetings with Baylor, including the quarterfinal round of the Big 12 tournament down in Kansas City a year ago. Ashley Jones, the tournament MVP, and Emily Ryan had a great game as Iowa State moved its nameplate over and then went on to win the championship.
It was quite a run Iowa State went on in the last year down at the old historic Coliseum in Kansas City. Municipal Auditorium has been such a historic place in this conference and for both of these programs, and the number of championships the two of them have won in that building.
The Baylor's won the last 3 here in Ames, and they continue to play well early on here. Fauntleroy off the bench, knocks down a 3.
Cyclones have got to take better care of the basketball, John. Iowa State with 6 giveaways already. Now, Baylor also with 4. Baylor's converted 6 points off those giveaways.
Fauntleroy gets a piece of that, but one way to settle down the turnovers is to bring in Emily Ryan, and that's exactly what Belle Fenley has done. Mentioned Ryan had that great game down at the Big 12 tournament quarterfinal last year. 15 points, 6 rebounds, 8 assists. And this is Emily Ryan, the senior from Claflin, Kansas. Never lost a high school game, 104-0 under Pat Stiles. There's the 3, and the rebound to Fauntleroy, and a foul on Naimir Dew.
We've heard Coach Fenley refer to Emily Ryan as the closer as she continues to come back from injury challenges, still playing about 20 to 25 minutes per game, and she had to have maxed out on that against West Virginia the other night, essentially willing that team to victory, putting that young Cyclone squad on her back when they were down.
Emily played 49 minutes and gets the block there. She played 49 minutes in Iowa State's double overtime victory in Waco last year. 49 to the 50. Down low, Natabu. And she traveled with it. So the turnovers continue for Iowa State.
Baylor on a 9-0 run here. Baylor Bears led by Edwards with 5 points. Little Paige Buggs with 4. We mentioned Sarah Andrews with 2 early fouls. She's the leading scorer for this Baylor Bears squad.
Walker steps into a 3 but misses. Natty Brown rebounds. Ryan dribbled into trouble and Fauntleroy took it away. Van Guytenbeek into the front court. Edwards puts it on the floor. Gets it underneath to Little Paige Buggs for her 3rd field goal. And this run continues for Baylor. Now they almost force another turnover.
Trayuna Edwards, gosh, she has just been around the basketball today. Nice little dump down to Little Paige Buggs.
Molly, even though Iowa State rallied from 19 down on Wednesday against West Virginia, I'm not sure that's the formula that Belle Fenley would like to follow in this one.
Yeah, I don't think so. Chatting with him yesterday, talked about some of the lessons learned, and when you have so many newcomers, and particularly the youngsters, the 5 freshmen who play a lot of minutes for Iowa State, he just said that's why you help them understand that you're never quite out of it. You just got to keep fighting and fighting. And they made some defensive tweaks here and there that I think coaching staff pretty pleased about. But you're right, John. I don't think that is the game plan for today.
Ryan somehow gets it up there, but was losing her balance as she did. And the ball goes over to Baylor. Danae Fritz into the lineup for the Bears. Transferred from here at Iowa State. Iowa State showing zone here. Edwards at the free throw line. Backs up and fires. And she is a terrific player. 7 now for Dre Edwards. And this run for Baylor continues. 18-10 now in favor of the Bears.
8 of 14 from the field. 6 of their last 8.
Iowa State needs a bucket. Emily Ryan goes to work. Double team. Finds Natabu. She's tied up. And the alternate possession will belong to the Bears.
Iowa State going to get Audi Crooks back into the lineup here for Natabu. Iowa State should be able to score down in the post with Audi Crooks and her strength. That 1-2 punch of Addie Brown, Audi Crooks, what the two of them can do in a 2-player game. We've mentioned Baylor doesn't have the post presence that they've had in many years past.
This is Fritz. And a travel called on Van Guytenbeek. So Iowa State will try to snap this scoring run of Baylor. They have been in a long drought here, so it's getting off to a great start. One thing that Baylor has avoided is that 5th foul here in the first quarter, which would have put Iowa State in the bonus.
And I would say it's just throwing the basketball away, John. 9 turnovers now.
Brown misses the 3.
Cyclones are 4 of 9 from the field. That's a respectable number, but you just can't give the basketball up 9 times and expect against a top 10 team to stay in a game.
8-point Baylor advantage as we play into the final minute of this first quarter here in Ames. Edwards, 16-footer, and Brown rebounds. Crooks gets position, works in on Edwards. And a foul called. It's going to send Audi Crooks to the free throw line to shoot 2.
Baylor not bringing any type of double team, at least not on that possession with Audi. With her smooth hands, her very efficient footwork, I think if she can post low on the block, she should be able to score one-on-one against Baylor.
Edwards picking up that foul, 5th on the Bears. And Crooks to the free throw line to shoot 2. Crooks coming off that 22-point, 11 rebound effort against West Virginia. Those 11 rebounds, a career high. Audi led Algona Garrigan to 2 state championships, scored 49 points in the championship game a few months ago. Knocks down the second free throw to end that drought.
Free throw shooting is an area where Audi has improved throughout this season. Big 12 play, shooting 71% from the free throw line. That's an improvement for what she was shooting in non-conference play.
And that's going to be important because she'll get to the line more than any other Cyclone.
Absolutely.
7 seconds. This is Blackwell. Walker goes to work, fires, and banks it in and draws a foul.
Wow.
Great play by Jada Walker, the junior out of Richmond, Virginia, who transferred in from Kentucky.
Yeah, what an athletic move, and the strength to go up with a jump shot. It's definitely a no-no. You don't want to foul a jump shooter, but she is able to go up strong and kiss it off the glass.
So Walker will try to complete a 3-point play with 2 seconds remaining here in the quarter. And she does.
Iowa State probably a special situation type of play here. Addie Brown throwing the long ball.
Oh, right through the legs of Naimir Dew. And if it wasn't touched, Baylor would get it all the way at this end of the floor, but I'm not sure if she touched it. They say she did. But Nye would have had a layup if she was able to handle the catch.
Addie Brown with a fantastic throw from center field.
And now Walker lets it fly and banks it in. Does it count or not? We'll see. Jada Walker letting it fly from 3/4 court, banked it in. The Cyclone staff wants a walk. See if she got it off in time.
What a shot.
Yeah, from the top of the key.
Holy cow.
On the Baylor end of the floor. Walker showing some strength to fire at the distance. They have not ruled it good yet. They're taking a look. Yeah, I think in terms of the clock, she got it off in time. I think Bill Fenley has an argument that she traveled.
Yeah, I think in terms of the clock and in terms of the travel, I think she did get away with on there.
Yeah, but that part they can't overturn.
Exactly.
So I think this is going to count. It does count, and it's 24-11 Baylor at the end of one. Jada Walker throwing in a 3/4 court shot to cap a strong first quarter.
One of the most inexperienced teams in the country. Very different circumstances for both of these very good teams.
There's a foul on Van Geitenbeek. So Baylor, after getting behind 10-5, closes the first quarter on a 19-1 run. And Iowa State going the final 6 minutes without a field goal. Well, 5:57 to be exact.
Baylor scoring 14 points off those Iowa State 10 turnovers.
And another whistle and a foul underneath. This one's going to go on Blackwell. That'll be her second.
And Baylor just won't have any choice but to be physical with Audi Crooks and her size advantage. And if Iowa State can just continue to make that effort to post her low on that block, I think they're going to get in foul trouble, and I think she'll have some looks at the hoop. We'll see if Baylor maybe changes some things up. Will they start to double Audi? That's something she is getting more accustomed to in Big 12 play as teams scout her.
Addie Brown. Off to do. Brown will launch a three. And the rebound to Fauntleroy. Iowa State stays ice cold. And Baylor a 13-point lead in the ball. Yaya Felder into the lineup for the first time. Throws it away. Brown the steal. This is Crooks. And finally, Iowa State has a field goal.
Well, Edwards already with one personal foul. She is so important to this Baylor lineup. And she probably knows she can't afford to get into foul trouble.
Fauntleroy's free throw line jumper won't go, and Addie Brown tracks down another rebound. Brown, terrific rebounder, Iowa State's best. Their top assist player. One of the best freshmen, one of the best players in the country, period. And that ball deflected away, but not by Baylor. It'll belong to the Bears.
Well, you mentioned Addie Brown and what she's brought to this Iowa State team in her early career. One thing I enjoy looking at her statistics is impressive. She was averaging about 15 points per game on the season. In Big 12 play, 17.5 per contest.
Van Geitenbeek misses, and Crooks is fouled on the rebound. And Crooks is another freshman whose numbers, other than the field goal percentage, her numbers have gotten better as league play has started. So this freshman class, which you wondered, okay, now that they get to the conference games, how will they adapt? What will it be like? They've handled it beautifully.
Yeah,
in fact, they've gotten even better.
Yeah, absolutely. Typically, when you look at non-conference, both of these teams, you play against some solid opponents, but there's a lot of wins. And statistics can sometimes be bloated a little bit, but those conference statistics, sometimes they go down slightly, but not those two freshmen. Ariana Jackson, her shooting in Big 12 play has improved.
Iowa State really making a concerted effort here on recent possessions to get the ball in the hands of Audi Crooks. And she's a player who can single-handedly get Baylor in foul trouble. Emily Ryan to throw it in. Bristow fires. And an unfortunate set of circumstances there for Baylor as Edwards and Fauntleroy didn't realize who they were dealing with, and it was each other. And it goes out of bounds to Iowa State.
See if Iowa State can take advantage of that miscue.
Belanger connects. Second bucket for Hannah Belanger, and Iowa State scored the first 4 points of this second quarter. Edwards in on Crooks. Felder back to Edwards for a three. And Crooks says, give me that. And outlets to Ryan. Audi Crooks can shoot the three. She's made 3 of 5 this season. She gets it inside. That's more of her comfort zone. Bucket and a foul.
Nice post-entry pass by Jalen Bristow. She's the type of player who just tends to be around the basketball, understands where to be. Nice post-entry pass for another freshman for this Cyclone squad. And a little bit of a gamble by the defensive player, Edwards. Audi Crooks, she catches that low. Good luck.
The Baylor post players starting to get a little bit of foul trouble, mostly courtesy of Audi Crooks, who goes to the free throw line here. And completes a three-point play. So Iowa State has scored the first 7 here in the second quarter, and they're within 6.
It's funny, John. We both cover Iowa State on a regular basis, so we understand the size of crowds. And this is a smaller crowd than typical, but this is a bigger crowd than you will see at most places across the country.
And these fans,
despite the blizzard,
feel a sense of, well, I got to do more than my part. So they're going to be especially loud here today. Here's Fritz with a running one-hander, and it rims in.
And Coach Collin alluded to that yesterday when we chatted with her. She said, we know it's important to keep the crowd out of it. That was a factor in Baylor's 2 wins here the last couple of years.
Yeah, she said I got to use my timeouts wisely to keep scoring runs from happening for Iowa State. Here's Ryan.
And for Iowa State, that three-point shot can be contagious, and that can often be what gets this squad going.
Ryan threw it away. Felder the interception, and here comes Baylor on the run. Yeah, Felder misses. And a rebound for Kelsey Jones. Ryan trying to avoid another turnover, but Baylor working hard to force turnovers. And boy, they've been terrific in that category so far today. They'll stay with Iowa State here.
Yeah, very scrappy Baylor defense. They will get their hands on a lot of balls.
And those turnovers are really what got Iowa State in trouble against West Virginia when they were able to get out to that 19-point lead. Eventually, the Cyclones were able to corral it. This is Kelsey Jones, another of the talented freshmen for Iowa State. And Crooks follows.
Well, you mentioned those Iowa State freshmen, John. All 5 players on the court for Iowa State right now are freshmen.
That's amazing to think about. And Audi Crooks on a scoring run of her own. She's got 10 now, and Iowa State within 6. Felder lets it fly. And Crooks battling. Finally, Brown comes up with it. Addie Brown on a spin. Jackson to Crooks. And Brown with an offensive foul. Addie Brown committing the foul, and the ball goes back over to Baylor. But this game is tightened up after Baylor led it by 13. They hit that. Watch Crooks here. Fauntleroy got position.
Fauntleroy with that defensive position does a nice job of blocking the cut of Addie Brown.
But that three-quarter court shot that Walker hit to end the first quarter certainly could have spelled trouble for Iowa State, but they've answered well here in the second quarter.
Well, as you've mentioned, they've made a concerted effort to get the basketball into Audi Crooks, and if she's not scored, she's drawn fouls.
Walker. That's too short for her. She needs to shoot it from three-quarters court. Crooks was fouled on the rebound. The Crooks is they have a stat number on the stat sheet, fouls drawn, and we'll have to check that number at the end of this game to see how many Audi Crooks is able to draw, but she is going back to the free throw line here to shoot 2 for Iowa State.
For folks that followed Iowa State women's basketball when Ashley Jones was here for the 5 years, that fouls drawn statistic was always so interesting to follow.
Crooks now with 11. It's amazing how well she has adapted coming out of a small high school here in Iowa. Second free throw misses. Walker pushes. Good defensive work by Jackson. And the ball out of bounds to Iowa State. Ariana Jackson moving her feet. And she's probably Iowa State's best defender in that category. Really can stay between her opponent and the basket. Jackson, another freshman from Des Moines, Roosevelt. Cyclone family. Her dad and her brother both played football for Iowa State. This is Crooks again. And she's on fire. 13 now for Audi Crooks. And it's a three-point game.
And what a great decision by Audi Crooks. She didn't turn over her right shoulder with the drop step. She knew the defender was sitting there, so she just went right up, shot up over the top. Did not want to risk getting any kind of charging foul.
Bartley gets the layup for Baylor. Just their second bucket here of the second quarter.
Bartley being called upon to help with the defensive assignment of Audi Crooks with several of their post players in some foul trouble.
They're going to her again, this time at the elbow. Belanger spins in and misses. And Little Paige bugs the rebound. Here comes Walker. Bartley again. Crooks defended well and cleared the glass. And a hold underneath on Baylor. That's going to go on Little Paige Bugs. More free throws coming for Iowa State when we return. It's tightened up here in Ames. Baylor leading it by 5 midway through the second quarter. There's Bill Fenley, who picked up his 600th victory at Iowa State out of BYU last week. And Molly, when you think about how much effort and energy, commitment from the staff and the players goes into one win, think about 601. I mean, it's amazing what he's done.
A lot of wins. A lot of wins. He is always so quick to give credit to his staff, give credit to his family, give credit to his wife, Deb, who he always says is the best recruit he ever got. But it's so true. I mean, coaching is not a job, it's a lifestyle. And to do it as well as he has for as long as he has is quite a testament to the loyalty of his family, his coaching staff, and that's just at Iowa State. There were a bunch of wins at the University of Toledo.
Guy's well over 700 for his career. Jalen Bristow makes 2 free throws, and Iowa State is back within 3 at 28-25. And Audi Crooks getting a rest here. And she has led this Iowa State comeback. Andrews back in there for Baylor. Dangerous score. Finds Little Paige Buggs. You can see the ball movement by Baylor. They're an excellent passing team, and Walker unable to convert. And a good rebound for Kelsey Jones.
Balanced scoring is the name of the game for this Baylor team on the year. See, Erin Jews averages 13 points per game, but she could score more in different systems. But this is a squad that, as you said, they share it so well. There are a number of players who can score in double figures in any night. We said there's 5 of them that have scored 1,000 in their career.
Bartley's one of them. She passes to the wing here. Jada Walker. Stripped away by Crooks. Good quick hands from Jackson, rather. Ariana Jackson. And with 3 minutes to go here, this is a tight one. And I would expect it to stay that way.
It's early in Big 12 play, but the season goes by in a hurry. I mean, think of what these teams are playing for. Iowa State is tied atop the Big 12 standings, certainly want to protect their home court. Baylor with their first loss of the season, and they probably don't like sitting at second place or tied for second place in the league standing. So a big game early on in the Big 12 season.
Walker into double digits now for Baylor with 10. Jackson goes to work on Walker and draws the foul. And that'll be the second on Jada Walker, and it will send Ariana Jackson to the free throw line. And here comes Audi Crooks back in. Well, Molly, you mentioned it earlier. Baylor had already planned on coming to Ames early anyway because they were in their Christmas break. They had a Wednesday game in Lawrence. They decided, let's just go straight to Ames. But with that came the chance to really enjoy the Iowa weather.
I'm sure they're embracing it.
They have gotten a full dose of it, that's for sure. And Nikki Collin joked about it yesterday. She's a Midwesterner. She said, no big deal for me. Jackson knocks down 2.
The Baylor Bears made the most of their time together. They had organized a game night at their hotel on Thursday evening. They're staying out in West Ames, and there's kind of a bowling, gaming kind of facility nearby. They were thinking about making the trek over last night, weren't totally sure. Staying near the Iowa State practice facilities, so it's nice these Big 12 programs, they help share facilities when you're traveling and out on the road and that type of thing.
Great ball movement again, and Little Paige Buggs the assist. Bartley converts. And it's back to a 5-point lead for Baylor. We've got a good one here in Ames. Jackson to Crooks. Audi Crooks has been tough to stop down low, misses there. And Little Paige Buggs with the rebound. Bartley did a good job challenging without fouling.
And Baylor brought that double team. Little Paige Buggs came over to provide assistance.
How about those hands from Dariana Little Paige Buggs with that catch and finish. And Baylor back up by 7. Belanger lets a 3 fly. Didn't get the bounce, and Felder rebounds. Then gets it back. And a collision, no call, out of bounds to Iowa State.
Nice job defensively there by Kelsey Jones. Not known for her defensive prowess maybe as she is for her three-point shooting. There's that finish by Little Paige Bugs. But back to Kelsey Jones a little bit. We mentioned the big three-pointer she had in the third quarter for Iowa State on Wednesday night. That was really a catalyst for this Iowa State offense. They had not shot the basketball well from three up to that point, and Coach Fenley said, you have to be ready. You never know when your name's going to get called or when you're going to need to make a big shot. And kudos to Kelsey Jones for being ready in that situation.
It's amazing how often it is Kelsey Jones that makes a play, one way or the other. Offensive rebound, hustle play. There's a whistle underneath and a foul on Crooks.
Well, folks who have followed women's college basketball, they know that Jones name.
Yes, they should.
They would expect nothing less out of another Jones sister.
Well, that's one thing she definitely has in common with Ashley, that nose for the ball and the want to go get it.
And the wearing of the knee pads. Very smart considering how those two play. And there she is with a big rebound.
Final minute of the second quarter. Ryan finds Bristow for three. And a good rebound by Sarah Andrews, and here comes Baylor.
Iowa State with a quick shot, hoping to get a 2-for-1 opportunity.
Felder hits the three. Yeah, Felder. Makes it a 10-point game, and Iowa State wisely allowed the ball to sit there on the baseline for a minute to make sure that they get this final shot of the half. But down by 10 again now as Baylor has stretched it out once again.
7-0 run for the Bears in this last 2 minutes.
Emily Ryan milking the clock. This is Crooks. Off the glass again. 15 in the first half for Audi Crooks. And we've got an 8-point game at halftime. So Baylor led it by 13 at the end of one. Iowa State almost cut that lead in half, thanks in large part to Audi Crooks. And we've got a good one in Ames. 8-point advantage, Baylor, as we go to the break. And it's not just snowbanks that are present.
Matchups between these two programs over the years. Of course, Kim Mulkey and what she has done, really building that program up, and then Nikki Collin taking the reins from there, as you said, has not lost in this arena. Nikki spoke of Hilton Magic and the impact of this crowd, and they have a new arena down in Waco, a little bit of a smaller arena, and she talked about having a home court advantage and really wanting to have that back for Baylor. And she knows what this crowd at Iowa State can do, even in the middle of a blizzard, and she was not wrong. The fans turned out.
Kelsey Jones getting the start here in the second half over Naimi Ardou for Iowa State. There's the zone and a three by Andrews. She's dangerous. And that one will belong to the Bears.
And Emily Ryan getting the start in the second half for Iowa State as well.
Yes.
Bill Finley did the same thing on Wednesday night against West Virginia. She just brings that calming presence. Iowa State knows that they need to have a good first few minutes in this third quarter. Can't let this game get away from them, and Emily Ryan is a way for them to try to do that.
Andrews was held scoreless in the first half. Here's Edwards. And one and done for Baylor this time as Ryan rebounds. This is Kelsey Jones. And there she goes again.
Back-to-back games with a big three-pointer in the third quarter. Can that one bring some much-needed momentum for the Iowa State team like it did on Wednesday night? That one took the lid off the basket against the Mountaineers.
Edwards connects from the free throw line. 9 now for Dre Edwards. Iowa State 4-0 in conference play. One of the great surprises. Still not appearing in the AP Top 25 poll. Not even getting votes, but I think that'll change on Monday. Here's Ryan. Tough shot. Emily Ryan connects. Her first bucket. And we're back within 5.
Emily was 4 of 5 from the field against West Virginia on Wednesday night.
Edwards to Little Page. Now Walker back out. Edwards has it. Little Page Bugs sets up for a three. And a good rebound for Blackwell, but she pushed off to do it. And so the foul goes on Blackwell. That will be her third. Asia Blackwell.
Kelsey Jones with that really nice weak side rebounding position.
So a 5-point game here in Ames. Settle in, because this is going to be a fun second half. They look to Crooks. That's a pretty good idea. Couldn't get the bounce, though. And a good rebound for Blackwell, who stays in there with those 3 fouls. Andrews, so dangerous. And a foul called on Crooks. That'll be the second on Audi Crooks. But Iowa State really not in any kind of foul trouble other than Crooks with 2. Baylor has several players with 2 and one with 3 now. Fauntleroy returns. Baylor is a deep team. Nikki Collin loves their versatility, their balance. Little Paige Buggs traveled with it.
Tenth turnover of the game for Baylor. Iowa State not a team that turns over their opponents all that often. They don't get out and really guard closely. But Baylor with some uncharacteristic ball handling errors.
Credit Edwards with a block, but then credit Addie Brown with a steal at the other end. So there's another turnover for Baylor.
And Coach Finley talks about ways to impact winning. Addie Brown hasn't gotten many touches today, just 2 points on the game, but that is a great defensive play. Addie, your freshman, kind of playing a safety or a defensive back.
17 now for Audi Crooks, and what a great entry pass from Emily Jones. Or Emily Ryan, I should say. Down low, Little Paige Buggs knocked away by Jones. And now Brown gets another steal for Iowa State. Addie Brown can fill up a stat sheet. Here comes Ryan, weaving her way. And Baylor the 3-point lead in the ball, and here comes Walker. Little Paige Buggs stripped by Brown again. 3 steals here in the second half for Addie Brown. Ryan off a Crook screen, lets it fly. And Kelsey Jones, a hustle rebound. Those are the plays that Kelsey Jones makes. Now let's see if Iowa State can capitalize. Belanger for the tie. And we are knotted up at 39, and listen to this crowd. Those that made it here, and the timeout from Nikki Collins. She said, I'll have to use my timeouts to limit scoring runs, and Iowa State's on one right now. They have erased an 8-point halftime deficit. Hannah Belanger has us tied at 39. Baylor got 7 steals in the first half, but Iowa State's turned the tables here in the second.
Well, Addie Brown, we mentioned playing defensive back there on that first one. Another steal out of that zone defense. Talk about impacting winning with Coach Finley, and Addie Brown is doing such a great job of that. 5 steals, 2 assists, 5 rebounds. Turnover is a big problem for Iowa State in the first half, but in the first few minutes of this second half, Iowa State a clean half with no turnovers. Baylor with 4 giveaways during that time.
They've erased an 8-point halftime deficit, and we're tied at 39. And a good look for Blackwell out of the timeout. First bucket for Asia Blackwell.
Good illustration of the sharing of the basketball. In the Baylor game notes, it says share the sugar. That is something they take a lot of pride in.
Ryan goes to Addie Brown. She works in on Edwards. Nice spin move, but couldn't convert. And Baylor a 3-point lead in the ball. Here comes Blackwell again. Edwards will let it fly. And a quick 6-0 run out of the timeout for Baylor.
What an answer.
Trey Edwards can really do it all for this Baylor program. And the lead back up to 6 for the Bears.
What an effective use of the timeout.
Ryan trying to answer. And does.
4 points out of the senior. 3 assists.
Andrews is yet to score. Edwards to Andrews for three. And Brown rebounds. Addie Brown into Natabu. Over her right shoulder, missing. And the rebound to Blackwell, harassed by Kelsey Jones.
Those are high percentage looks for Iowa State's post players, but they have not been able to convert.
Fauntleroy misses a three, and Brown rebounds again. Some pace now. Ryan into the paint. Emily Ryan taking it inside. She has 6 here in the second half.
And just enough backspin on that shot so when it hits the rim, it creeps over and into the basket.
What did Bill Fenley call her, the closer?
That's right.
Yeah. She has her 6 points here in the third quarter. And we'll get a timeout here, but we have a good one in Ames. Number 4 Baylor leading Iowa State 45-43. 2-point game here in Ames. 3:49 to go in the third, and Emily Ryan's return, such a big impact for Iowa State. They're 6-0 since she's come back.
Well, as you can see, mid-December is when she re-entered the lineup for Iowa State, and this Iowa State coaching staff, they have listened closely to the athletic trainers, relies heavily on those medical professionals and trust in them immensely. 26 minutes Wednesday night against West Virginia. That's right about the max for her at this point.
She scored the last 4 for Iowa State to make it a 2-point game. Against the zone, Edwards fires and hits, and Edwards has had the hot hand for Baylor. She has 14. Audi Crooks back in there for Iowa State. So is Ariana Jackson. Addie Brown goes to work and finds Crooks. 19 now for Audi Crooks.
Cyclones shooting over 50% from the field in this third quarter. They're 2 of 4 from downtown.
Blackwell in on Crooks, and a trip called on Iowa State. Let's see if it's on Crooks or Belanger. It is on Belanger, which is a break for Iowa State. They don't want Audi Crooks getting her third. So Baylor will inbound with a 2-point lead. Bears coming off their only loss this season in Lawrence on Wednesday, and this is Edwards. The rebound, and Blackwell puts it home and draws a foul. Asia Blackwell going to the offensive glass. Baylor got just 1 offensive rebound in the first half, but they're getting a few here in the second.
Now that long rebound. Blackwell does a really nice job going up strong.
Now she'll try for the 3-point play. Asia Blackwell was a terrific player at Missouri in her 3 years there. She's been pretty good for Baylor too.
And Nikki Collin has a lot of options.
Sure does. Got a clock issue. It's continuing to run, by the way. Now it stops. That was running when he blew the whistle and went down to 2:47. Now they have it at 2:49. Well, let's not split hairs.
Sounded like some fans are offering their assistance on the clock crew.
They're always willing. Andrews knocked that one away.
They seem willing to put on a striped shirt as well.
It's amazing how seldom that gets taken up, though. Always worth the try, right? Another clock issue. Nikki Collins says, what's the deal?
Well, we have an opportunity. Let's take a look at a couple of statistics here. Audi Crooks continues to lead the way for Iowa State with 19 points, 5 rebounds. Baylor now with a couple players in double figures. Edwards still leading the way with those 14 points. Jada Walker with 10. Sarah Andrews, leading scorer for Baylor, 0 points today.
Belanger goes to work And a charge called on Hannah Belanger. Baylor put on a press that time. Iowa State broke it, and then Belanger maybe got a little sped up. And she did indeed push off with that right elbow. Good call. Baylor's lead is 5. They work against that Iowa State zone, and Walker misses the 3, and Crooks corrals the rebound, but it's knocked away, a foul. And Blackwell protests. That's going to be her 4th. Asia Blackwell committing her 4th personal foul. And so a decision here for Nikki Collin, and she'll go to her bench.
And 3 other Baylor players with 2 fouls apiece. Blackwell with 6 points. She's 2 of 2 from the field. 3 rebounds, a couple of assists.
That's the 4th team foul of this quarter on the Bears.
And we'll see some pressure defense again by Baylor.
Belanger working with Ariana Jackson to get it across. Crooks inside. And a foul on Crooks trying to get that rebound. That'll be her 3rd.
Well, Iowa State got the touch that they wanted. Audi Crooks just wasn't quite able to convert. She's 8 of 12 from the field on the day.
Oh, I stand corrected. That was the 5th team foul on Iowa State, so it was 4 earlier for the Cyclones. I was looking at the wrong team on the board there. So now in the bonus is Baylor, and Fauntleroy shoots 2. Bella Fauntleroy, sophomore out of Springfield, Missouri, had a great game down at TCU with 21 points. Hit 5 threes in that one. That was at home, actually, in the new Foster Pavilion, which is a great new facility for Baylor. So Nikki Collins really excited about that.
They will eventually have practice facilities there with their new arena, still practicing over at the Farrell Center, if I understand correctly. And the Farrell Center will stay. Volleyball will continue to compete there. This new arena will be a basketball-only complex.
7,500 it holds, and a really loud arena from everything we understand. This is the only scheduled meeting between Iowa State and Baylor this season. Here's a spin by Addie Brown. Just her 2nd field goal. And Iowa State back within 4. Walker blocked by Bristow, but cleared by Bartley. Blocked again by Bristow.
Jalen Bristow's had a couple of key plays in this game. Of course, 2 on that 1 possession.
Ryan takes it the distance. 8 in the 3rd quarter for Emily Ryan, and it's 51-49.
Cyclones have hit 4, their last 5 from the field.
And this crowd getting into it at Hilton Coliseum. 2-point game. Walker in on Ryan. Edwards launches and hits. 17 now for Dre Edwards. And Baylor back in front by 5.
And that is what a top 10 team does. On the road, coming off their first loss of the season, the crowd gets into it, immediately silenced in 1 shot.
Ryan couldn't convert. And a deflection by Kelsey Jones, but recovered by Edwards. Down to 30 seconds remaining in this first half. Edwards again. And the rebound to Bristow. So now Iowa State can hold for the final shot of this 3rd quarter. They have chipped away at that Baylor lead. Baylor led it by 8 at the half. Led by as many as 13 in this game.
I would say with the smaller lineup, don't have Crooks or Nadabu in the post.
Belanger for 3. Yes! And it's a 2-point game as we go to the 4th. Hannah Belanger, another timely 3. She hit one earlier to tie the game at 39. And now she buries one to close out the 3rd quarter. And it's a 2-point game as we go to the 4th in Ames.
This game now. she's been out with quite a bit of foul trouble, has only played 21 minutes, but Iowa State really keying in on her.
On to the fourth quarter we go. Crooks gets a touch, but couldn't finish. And the rebound to Edwards, and Crooks slow to get back. Hobbled a bit on that play. Fauntleroy goes to work along the baseline. Shot it too strong. Crooks down there despite hurting a little bit. And she's able to secure the ball for Iowa State.
She has her left knee bandaged up a little bit. I'm not sure what it was. She's wincing, certainly. Something isn't feeling right. I'm not sure if it's a knee, an ankle.
I'm guessing she'll be back. 9:30 to go in this fourth quarter. Ryan had 8 in the third for Iowa State. Brown waits for cutters. Belanger's had the hot hand. Hannah Belanger, the runner. 13 now for Belanger. And we're tied again. And this crowd at Hilton Coliseum coming alive. It's amazing how many folks actually got here today. Edwards has had the hot hand for Baylor, but misses there, and Brown rebounds.
8th rebound for Addie Brown.
And Iowa State looks for its first lead since early in the game. They were up 10-5 early. Natabu. And out of bounds to the Cyclones.
Iowa State really scoring at will in the first half when they got the basketball into the post. Third quarter and first minute of this fourth, it has not been that post play that has led them through this comeback.
But look who's back. Audi Crooks. And now Ryan to throw it in. Bounces it to Crooks underneath, and she'll go to work. Audi Crooks does not get the bounce. She's had to struggle to finish here in this quarter.
And I think Iowa State players so quick to retreat once she puts a shot up. Really all of them, or none of them I should say, seeking out offensive rebounds once she catches.
Edwards now with 19 to lead Baylor, and they regain the lead.
Iowa State has only led for 3 minutes in this contest, and that was very early with that 10-5 lead.
Ryan off a Crooks screen, drives it, and good block by Fauntleroy. Baylor tries to stretch out the lead. To Andrews' credit, she hasn't forced anything, despite struggling to score here. Now she'll launch a three, and the rebound, Emily Ryan. So Iowa State can pull even or take the lead with a three. Audi Crooks can make them. She goes inside to Addie Brown.
Addie Brown really calling for the basketball, being defended by the much smaller Sarah Andrews. Really nice recognition by Iowa State. Andrews 5'6", defending the 6'2" Addie Brown.
Walker goes to Little Paige Buggs, poked away from her, but they get it to Andrews for three. And she continues to stay cold, but a good rebound by Little Paige Buggs, and she was fouled. Or Fauntleroy, rather. So Baylor keeps possession in this tie game with 7:09 to go.
5 rebounds for Fauntleroy today.
Andrews directing traffic. Good kick out. Walker for three. And another offensive rebound, but taken away by Addie Brown, and a foul on Little Paige Buggs trying to get it back.
What a tough play there for Addie Brown. Baylor did all the right things to track down that offensive rebound, and Addie Brown not afraid to stick her nose in there.
Well, the words tough and Addie Brown often find their way into the same sentence. 6:50 to go. Iowa State an opportunity to take the lead here. And back inside to Crooks, but a travel call. Back in with 4 fouls is Blackwell. Asia Blackwell returning. Anybody's game with 6:40 to go. Inside. This is Blackwell. Got away with a double dribble. Andrews launches a three and hits it. Sarah Andrews hits her first basket of the game, and Bill Fenley is livid on that Iowa State sideline. They clearly missed a double dribble.
Yeah, the look on Blackwell's face. She knew she got away with one herself.
Back up by three is Baylor. Ryan tries to tie it. And the rebound tracked down by Brown. Now Kelsey Jones for three. Crooks pushed off to get the rebound, and the foul on Audi Crooks is her fourth. And that's something that Cyclone bench will need to be aware of. We'll get Natamu back in there. Here's that double dribble. I mean, pretty clear, wasn't it?
The official thought Audi Crooks got a hand on it, but from my view, didn't see number 55 touch the basketball.
3-point Baylor lead, and Andrews was the beneficiary. She knocked down that three-pointer. Now Walker misses, and Ryan, great job battling for that rebound and taking it away from Blackwell.
Yeah, she did not have the defensive rebounding position, but again, willing to stick her nose in there.
Brown goes to work and fires. And a three-pointer for Addie Brown ties it. 9 now for Brown, and we're tied at 59.
Addie Brown knocks down the three. She knew that was pure. As soon as it left her hand, she started trotting back down the floor. Big smile, calls to the crowd to get up off their feet.
Edwards driving and throws it away. And another opportunity for Iowa State to take its first lead since the first quarter. Two proud programs. They've had some great battles. Baylor has won 6 of the last 10, but a lot of them have come right down to the end. Here's Ryan. Brown hit the three a moment ago. Got a screen. Kelsey Jones was fouled on the perimeter.
I love that Addie Brown does not force in that situation. So patient. She maybe could have taken a shot, but she wants to work for a better shot, either for herself or for a teammate.
Well, if you live in Iowa, you're not going anywhere anyway. But I'd say don't go anywhere, because we have a tie game with 4:47 to go in the fourth. Now, in all, they're 13-6 in this building. Plenty at stake here today for these two teams. These are two of the top teams in the standings. Coach Fenley looking for his 76th win at Iowa State against a ranked opponent. Remarkable. Tie ball game. Brown has made great basketball plays, but that time she got it taken away by Blackwell. And Asia Blackwell, the distance, draws the foul on Brown, and she'll go to the free throw line.
Third personal on Addie Brown.
Blackwell to the line for Baylor. Asia Blackwell has had some terrific games. Against Houston, she had 15 points, 10 rebounds. I mean, she averaged 15 points and 13 rebounds her final year at Missouri. She misses the first free throw.
Well, she just is a player where she always seems to be around the basketball. Maybe doesn't always get credit for the rebound, but she is
missed both free throws, and Natabu rebounds for Iowa State, so the Cyclones dodge one there. 4.5 minutes to play in a tie game at Hilton Coliseum. Kelsey Jones fouled by Andrews. Iowa State will inbound with Belanger. The Cyclones have had several possessions with the opportunity to take the lead. Haven't done it of late. Here is Brown. In on Edwards. And a foul on the rebound will go on Baylor, and that is Blackwell's fifth, and she protests. Asia Blackwell called for her fifth personal foul.
That's a big one. She has been a critical to their success today, playing 14 minutes. But as I mentioned, she has just been around the basketball a lot. 2 of 2 from the field, 6 points. Sarah Andrews with 4 fouls for Baylor. That is another one to watch for Iowa State. It's Audi Crooks in foul trouble. She is not in the game currently, but she has 4 fouls for Iowa State.
Ryan will trigger. 4:12 to go in this tie game. And Addie Brown goes to work. Ryan into the paint. And a travel called on Emily Ryan. Does anybody want the lead?
Yeah. Cyclones can't quite get over that hump, as you mentioned. Several opportunities.
And Baylor has had opportunities at this end. Here's Andrews. And this is Fauntleroy. Brown with a good rebound, her 10th of the game. Ryan pushes ahead to Natabu, and probably not a great idea. That's Isnell Natabu just doesn't have the hands to collect that. And Crooks will return here for Natabu.
Cyclones have been so good at taking care of the basketball in the second half, John. They had 14 midway through the game. In the second half, though, very good up until the last 3 minutes. 4 turnovers in the last 3:48.
Again, Baylor tries to take the lead, and Walker does not get the roll. And the rebound to Belanger.
That went halfway down, it seemed.
We've been stuck on 59 for a while. Crooks trying to change all that, and does. 21 in the game for Audi Crooks, and Iowa State finally has a lead back.
Gotta love the confidence in your freshman. She has had good low block position in the second half and just hasn't been able to convert.
First lead since they were up 10-5 in the first quarter. Fans on their feet at Hilton Coliseum. Walker driving, fouled by Emily Ryan. Just the 4th team foul, so Baylor will inbound underneath. The lefty Walker to trigger. Andrews trying to get some space. Now she'll let it fly. And a long rebound. Andrews did a great job keeping it alive, but it's eventually corralled by Kelsey Jones. Who else? Cyclones a 2-point lead in the ball. Ryan trying to find room along the baseline. Kelsey Jones lets it go. And a good job by Edwards blocking off Crooks to get that defensive rebound for Baylor. 2-point Iowa State lead, 2:20 to go. Fauntleroy throws it away. Emily Ryan the steal. And a foul on Baylor will send Ryan to the free throw line to shoot 2.
Emily Ryan gets her hand on a couple players trying to tie her up. The foul does get called, so a very good free throw shooter will go to the line for Iowa State and Emily Ryan.
2-point game with 2:07 to go. Iowa State trying to get to 5-0 in the Big 12. There's the important details. The possession arrow does belong to Baylor. Iowa State has all 4 of its timeouts remaining. Neither team with a foul to give. What a comeback it's been, Molly. Iowa State got down that 13-point deficit at the end of the first quarter, and they've just chipped away ever since.
Certainly the momentum after coming from behind against West Virginia on Wednesday night probably helps the confidence of this young team. Coach Finley said yesterday when asked about the comeback, he said, part of it is I think our young kids don't know any better. But I don't know about you, John, but I think these last few minutes, it seems like players on both of these teams tightening up a little bit, realizing what's on the line. And I would illustrate that in saying Baylor, 0 of their last 4 from their field, 1 of their last 8. Cyclones with a number of turnovers in these last few minutes. You at one point had said it seems like no one wants to take the lead.
Finally, Iowa State claimed it. And now Emily Ryan tries to add to it, but misses the first free throw.
Free throws have not been a factor in this game all that much. Iowa State 7 of 10, Baylor just 3 of 6.
The pride of Claflin now with 9. And it's 62-59, Iowa State. 2 minutes to play, here in Ames. Andrews goes to work. Edwards missing, and Brown with her 11th rebound. Now you just have to be super strong with the basketball if you're Iowa State, because Baylor's going to try to come get it. And they get it in the right hands in that regard.
And they will deny, they will get their hands on passes. You got to come to the basketball if you're Iowa State.
Ryan to Brown, and a foul. No, a 3-second violation on Addie Brown. So Iowa State turns it over.
That's where Emily Brown wanted to go with it. Baylor defender doing a nice job in Emily's face, making that post-entry pass nearly impossible.
Iowa State really packing in the lane on that zone. So Walker puts it on the floor, tries to get in there anyway. Fade away, rims in, tough shot by Jada Walker.
What a shot, going to her right, off balance, the lefty.
62-61.
What touch.
A minute to go. Well, we said we could see a third buzzer beater of the day. Nothing will surprise me at this point. 52 seconds, Ryan looks for Crooks and throws it away. Andrews up with the steal, and Baylor a chance to regain the lead.
Edwards fronting Audi Crooks on that possession. Emily Ryan hoping for the lob pass.
About a 16-second difference, shot clock and game clock. Doesn't matter. Walker lets it go, and she draws the foul. She'll shoot 2. If this is Crooks, it's her 5th. It's not. It's Belanger. So Jada Walker, the transfer from Kentucky, has had a big day. 12 points. Knocks down the free throw.
She does an excellent job of slicing through that Iowa State defense.
At this point, just a 1-second difference shot clock and game clock. So this is a big rebound if she misses. She doesn't. She knocks it down, and Baylor up by 1. And we'll get a timeout here. Iowa State taking the timeout. 2 big free throws for Jada Walker after she had hit that bucket a moment ago. So she scored the last 4 here for Baylor when they needed it most.
She hasn't shot a lot of free throws on the year, but she shoots at a 79% clip, so that is not who you want to put at the charity stripe. And you start to look at free throw percentages in a situation like this. Iowa State 71% on the year. They are a little better in Big 12 play at 73% from the field.
Baylor's going to bring in Letty Vasconcelos, the freshman from Brazil. They're only freshmen on their roster, but she's 6'7". So maybe a defensive move to help contend with Audi Crooks.
And that last possession for Iowa State on the offensive end, Baylor threw something a little different at Audi Crooks. They were fronting her. Emily Ryan with the right idea to try to throw that lob pass, but an errant throw that just goes up over the head of everyone on the floor. Baylor retrieving that loose basketball. They go in the other direction, get to the free throw line, they go up 1.
Back and forth we go. Vasconcelos will defend Crooks, the 2 freshmen. And let's see if Iowa State tries to go in there. Addie Brown throws it to Crooks. And she draws the foul and hits it anyway. 23 for Audi Crooks. She took it right at the 6'7" Vasconcelos. And Iowa State lays it.
Kudos to Audi Crooks in the short-term memory that she has displayed in this game, and the confidence she has in herself and the confidence her team and her coaches have in her.
Vasconcelos reaching over.
Yep, and Audi struggled a little bit in the second half. She has done a nice job of securing that low block position.
Missed the free throw, and now Baylor rebounds and calls timeout. 23 seconds to go in a 1-point game.
As I was mentioning, Audi Crooks done a nice job of securing that low block position, but I think she'd like to have a few of those bunnies back that she hasn't been able to convert on. But what a great job of going up against a much bigger defender than she's seen all day long and going up strong. The harm in the hoop, unable to convert at the free throw line. And now it's a 1-point game.
You know, secretly, I was really hoping that if there was going to be a bunny that you were going to reference in this game, it would have been by Dariana Littlepage Bugs. But it didn't present itself, and sometimes you just can't force the issue. So what a ball game we have here. 64-63, 23 seconds, shot clock turned off. Baylor with one last possession to try to take away a 4th straight win here in Ames. But we're looking at 2 really good basketball teams here.
Oh, fantastic. Baylor, their best start to a season in many years. Since the historic season when they went on to win 40-0 record. This is how good of a start they have had. This is a great Baylor team. They beat Texas earlier in the season.
And it feels like Nikki Collin really has her stamp on this program now. You know, obviously when you're following a legend, there's a transition phase, but she's recruited very well, has excellent players, and it just feels like it's her program now, and it's a great program.
She has put the pieces of the puzzle together. Coach Finley talked about the transfer portal and how you're not putting that back in the bottle. I think he said you're not putting the genie back in the bottle or something along those lines, and he's right. You know, roster management, making up a team, that is part of the gig now, and Nikki Collin has utilized that transfer portal very effectively. We talked about the experience on this Baylor team, 5 players with 1,000 points in their career.
Yaya Felder throws it in. Walker driving left. Felder, shot fake and a drive. And a tough shot wouldn't fall. Tipped away by Fauntleroy. Out of bounds to Iowa State with 11 seconds remaining and a timeout called by Bill Finley. Baylor got a pretty clean look. And then Fauntleroy had a chance of that offensive rebound but couldn't quite collect it.
Yeah, great job on the weak side rebounding. Like you said, they got a good look at it. Excellent job by Audi Crooks.
The out of bounds play is on a review for possession and also for the game clock.
And that's the official chiming in to make sure we know what is happening over there at the scorer's table.
Well, those that have been able to make it to Hilton Coliseum today have certainly enjoyed a good one. We mentioned these are 2 teams that are going to be great representatives of the Big 12 going forward. And, you know, talk of an NCAA tournament for Iowa State, anyway, seemed maybe a little crazy at the beginning of the year, especially after the struggles out of the gate. But as I mentioned, they are on a nice winning streak now, and Emily Ryan's return coincides with that. And those young players have grown up right before our eyes. I think these are 2 NCAA tournament teams.
Oh,
These
are 2 great teams, and for Iowa State, you lose a couple of games. Tough trip over Thanksgiving out to Las Vegas. I think that Iowa game for Iowa State, of course, Bill Finley not real big on morale boosters when you lose, but that was, I think, a confidence-boosting loss for this Iowa State team to show we can play with the top 5 teams in the country.
Well, they haven't lost since.
And they have been so good since that time. I think Coach Finley said after that game, teams who got us in the non-conference are maybe lucky because we're coming.
Yeah.
Yep, we're coming.
Let's think about what Iowa State has to do here. Obviously, Baylor will have to foul if they can't get a steal, but they've been able to get some steals. They're going to probably make life very difficult on the inbounds.
Yeah, Iowa State has been much better in the second half, but as of late, have turned the basketball over a little bit. Now, Coach Finley does still have a couple timeouts remaining.
They'll take Crooks out. They get Naimir Duan, and Nye hasn't played, I don't think, in the second half. It's been mostly Kelsey Jones. So it'll be Emily Ryan to trigger a 1-point lead, 11 seconds left. Ryan gets it into Belanger, and she's fouled immediately by Walker. Good strong catch by Hannah Belanger. We mentioned Baylor has 5,000-point scorers. Belanger, a 2,000-point scorer in her career with a great career at Truman State. She'll be the free throw shooter here.
Hasn't shot a lot of free throws on this season. She's 12 of 16, but certainly has been in a lot of pressure situations in her college basketball career.
For any Iowa State fans that are watching and thinking of coming up for the men's game, it has been moved to 6 o'clock because of Oklahoma State travel issues, trying to get into Ames. But right now we've got some important business to take care of. Belanger knocks down the first. 14 for Hannah Belanger, and Iowa State up by 2. Made them both.
What confidence, my goodness.
2 huge free throws for Hannah Belanger. And now if you're Baylor, unless it's a very quick 2, you got to look for the 3.
Nice execution by Iowa State out of that last timeout. Hannah Belanger clearly is who they wanted to catch the basketball. The sure-handed senior for Iowa State with a lot of college basketball experience under her belt. Calmly steps to the free throw line and knocks down a pair.
Yeah, we talk a lot about the youth of this Iowa State team and how good they've been, and it's impressive. But it is those veterans, Emily Ryan, Hannah Belanger, Naimir Du, that Coach Fenley will lean on in big moments. And they have come through time and time again.
This Baylor squad down 3, as you mentioned, unless it's a quick 2, probably going for 3. This is a good Baylor three-point shooting team, shooting 37% from 3 on the year. But in 4 Big 12 games, they're 39% from downtown.
And maybe their best three-point shooter, Sarah Andrews, will be the one to throw it in, but that's always dangerous because she could get it right back. Ariana Jackson has the defensive assignment on her. They bring it into Walker. She does return it to Andrews. 7 seconds. Now they got to go for the 3. Walker behind the back, brings it back out. Andrews lets the traffic clear and lets it fly, and it misses. And Iowa State knocks off number 4 Baylor here at Hilton Coliseum. And they're 5-0 in the Big 12. 2 wins this week over ranked teams. They knock off number 24 West Virginia. And now they take down number 4 Baylor. And for the time being, they sit all alone atop the Big 12 conference standings.
What a week in Hilton Coliseum. Hilton magic is real. We said that Wednesday night after a big win, but my goodness.
Their highest ranked win since Inez Nezaquah hit the 3 here a few years back to beat this same Baylor program. And the celebration begins at Hilton Coliseum, where Iowa State has been so tough. Coach Fenley gets his 12th win over Baylor. Not many anywhere could say that. And he throws a big fist pump and then races off in a sprint to the Cyclone locker room.
Iowa State coaching staff taking a minute to point to the fans as though to say, thank you very much for being here. Thank you so much for braving the weather and being here for this Iowa State team. Audi Crooks gave a shout out to the Iowa State fans in a post-game interview on Wednesday night. You can tell these young team for Iowa State, they do not take this crowd for granted. They are going to soak this one up, and they should. 2 big wins at Hilton Coliseum this week for the Cyclones.
Look at those smiles. Audi Crooks leads the way with 23. Hannah Belanger with 15. Iowa State trailed by as many as 13, but they rally to win it. And for Molly Parrott and our entire outstanding crew, I'm John Walters saying so long from Hilton Coliseum, where the final score is Iowa State 66 and number 4 Baylor 63. All games airing on ESPN.